A perfect smile at the opera can hide a storm at home. Just when it seemed Bertha Russell had everything: power, wealth, and status, season 3 opens with a quiet moment that changes everything. A glance from across the opera hall, a whispered message, and then, her face hardens. The Gilded Age is back, and no one is safe, not in love, not in business, and certainly not in high society. Before we dive into the new chaos of season 3, let's remember where we left our characters. George Russell had just saved his name, after a bitter legal fight. His railroad empire survived, but not without scars. We saw him finally take control again, but even then, there were hints that rivals still waited in the shadows. His victory wasn't total, it came at a price. Behind closed doors, George and Bertha began to disagree more often. She wanted more influence. He wanted peace. Meanwhile, Marian Brooke was still trying to find her place in New York. Her romance with Mr. Rakes ended painfully in season 1, and in season 2. She tried to stay strong, but her quiet heartbreak showed. Marian focused on her art and charity work, but even that didn't shield her from society's cruel whispers. Her Aunt Agnes, proud and unshaken, still wanted Marian to marry well, but Marian had other ideas. Peggy Scott, the bold and smart writer, left the Russell house after losing her child. She began working with a black-owned newspaper in Philadelphia, where she used her words to fight injustice. In season 2, we saw her risk her safety to report the truth. She found her voice but also made powerful enemies. By the finale, she had become a name people talked about in both black and white communities, some with respect, others with fear. And then there's Bertha Russell. In season 2, she finally claimed victory in the social wars by securing her own box at the Operist, ailing it right from under Mrs. Astor. But Bertha's hunger didn't stop there. Her eyes were on the highest seats in society, and she was willing to play dirty. But power comes with pressure, and pressure makes people crack. Each of these stories sets the stage for the drama in season 3. Relationships are still broken, ambitions are still burning, and the moment the curtain rises on episode 1, we see that the past isn't done with any of them. The episode doesn't open with loud music or big speeches. Instead, it begins in total silence except for the soft rustle of silken footsteps across a marble floor. Bertha Russell stands alone in her grand hallway, staring at a letter sealed with red wax. Her hand shakes slightly. The camera doesn't show the words, but her eyes tell us everything. Whatever was written inside has shaken her confidence. That's our first clue. This season won't just be about society parties, it's about secrets. Moments later, we're thrust into a luxurious opera night. Everything glitters. Dresses shimmer like stars, and every important name in New York has gathered under one roof. But among the music and champagne, there's tension. A new couple enters the scene, Lord and Lady Rochford, fresh from London. Their presence changes the mood instantly. Whispers fly. It turns out, they are not just here for entertainment. They're here to challenge the Russells for control of society's highest spaces. Bertha notices. Her smile is polite, but her grip on the opera box railing tightens. George Russell, ever the businessman, doesn't see them as a threat. But Bertha does. She knows the rules of this game, and she senses that Lady Rochford plays them with deadly charm. The two women exchange compliments that sound sweet but cut like knives. It's the beginning of a new battle, and Bertha knows she must win it. Meanwhile, Marian walks into the opera hall quietly, avoiding attention. She's not alone. A man follows just behind her, not a suitor, not yet, but someone new. She doesn't speak much in this scene, but her presence is enough to draw glances. Aunt Agnes sees it all from a distance, and doesn't hide her disapproval. There's already conflict building, and it's all unspoken, making it even more intense. Peggy, now a rising journalist, isn't at the opera. Instead, we see her arriving at a printing press late at night. She hands over her latest column, a powerful piece about corruption in city housing. The editor hesitates. Publishing something this bold could cost them advertisers and safety, but Peggy insists. She's done staying quiet. The tension in her storyline matches the tension in the opera hall. Both women, Peggy and Bertha, are stepping into dangerous territory, but for very different reasons. The first 15 minutes of episode 1 don't scream for your attention. Instead, they pull you in slowly, layer by layer. Small gestures, short conversations, and unread letters speak louder than any grand speech. And by the end of the opening act, it's clear every major character is hiding something, and the price for keeping secrets this season might be higher than ever. Everything in this world looks beautiful on the surface, but beneath the diamonds and chandeliers, war has quietly begun. It's not fought with weapons but with whispered gossip, clever dinners, and invitations that never arrive. In this episode, those quiet battles explode into something more dangerous. Bertha Russell, still glowing from her opera box win, makes her first big move of the season. She hosts a private tea for the city's most elite women but leaves Lady Rochford off the guest list. It's not a mistake, it's a message. In high society, being excluded is the worst insult. But Lady Rochford doesn't flinch. Instead, she hosts her own event the very next night and somehow, her room is even more crowded than Bertha's. The balance of power is shifting fast. For the first time, Bertha feels what it's like to be outplayed. Her confidence cracks but only for a second. She won't go down without a fight. Meanwhile, Marian's story quietly grows more tangled. That man from the opera, his name is Dashiell Morgan, a charming art dealer with a mysterious past. He seems honest, but there's something about him that makes people nervous. Marian's drawn to him, even though her aunt warns her to stay away. And now, there are rumors that Marian's been spotted visiting his gallery alone without a chaperone. In this world, that's enough to ruin her name. She brushes it off. But there's a storm building around her and she doesn't see it yet. George Russell steps back into the spotlight too, but his focus isn't on parties. He's discovered a quiet plan by rival businessmen to drive down the value of his rail stock. It's dirty, silent warfare in the boardroom. George tries to warn Bertha, but she's too focused on society to listen. Their marriage starts to show cracks again, this time, not from betrayal, but from pride. Both are fighting battles, but in different arenas. And both believe their fight is the more important one. Peggy Scott's story also takes a dramatic turn. Her article exposing real estate corruption goes to print and hits the city like a firestorm. She's invited to speak at a women's rights gathering, a moment of pride and fear all at once. But not everyone celebrates her success. A letter arrives at her office, unsigned, with a clear threat: stop digging or we'll bury the truth and you with it. It's the first time we see real danger touch Peggy's world, and she's not backing down. As the episode moves forward, tension rises in every storyline. The characters are making bold choices and those choices are setting traps. No one knows it yet, but by the end of this season, friendships will be broken, fortunes will fall, and someone's reputation will be destroyed. A dress can hide desperation. A polite nod can mask a threat. In the Gilded Age, the real drama isn't always what's spoken, it's what's left unsaid. And episode 1 of season 3 makes this clearer than ever. Every character is fighting something invisible. This episode isn't just about who's richer or more elegant. It's about who's holding on by a thread while pretending to be in control. Let's start with Bertha Russell. On the surface, she is still the queen of new money, flawless dresses, perfect posture, and an iron will. But underneath all that, shine is fear. Not fear of losing wealth, but of becoming irrelevant. This episode shows her smiling too hard, speaking too perfectly, clinging too tightly. That's not power, that's panic. Lady Rochford has stepped into the spotlight, and she carries something Bertha can't fake: old-world respect. And for Bertha, respect is the one thing she can't buy, no matter how many opera boxes she owns. Then there's Marian. Torn between her heart and her place in society, her story reflects a growing theme this season: independence versus safety. In the past, women like Marian followed rules, but she's slowly rewriting them. By choosing art, by meeting Dashiell Morgan without a chaperone, by thinking about life outside her aunt's control, she's daring to be different. But the cost is high. Gossip is a weapon in this world, and Marian is slowly stepping into its line of fire. Peggy Scott's arc pushes a different theme: the price of truth. Her journalism isn't just brave, it's revolutionary. A black woman speaking out in print, exposing the wealthy, questioning the system. That's dangerous. Episode 1 shows her walking into rooms where no one wants her, speaking truth where silence was expected. And even though she's being threatened, Peggy stands taller than ever. Her voice is power, but that power paints a target on her back. Even Agnes and Ada, older and seemingly settled, carry their own silent wars. Agnes still lives by rules of class and pride, but we see more cracks in her armor. Her stern lectures feel more desperate. Ada, meanwhile, is starting to question everything. She watches Marian with quiet envy. She sees Bertha's fight and wonders if propriety is really worth a lifetime of silence. This episode is not loud, it's elegant, but that elegance hides emotional violence.